Guns good, guns good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Joe's Talking Joe. And I don't like introing it without my brother, so I'm just gonna blam. What's up, dude?
What is happening? What's going on with you, Chad? What's going on with everybody in the chat? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
not too bad. As good as I can be, trying to navigate a very short flash to bang PCS move. So, that has its intricacies that have to be dealt with. So, but we're getting it done. We're getting it done.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you literally don't have a choice. So
yeah, they give you these ridiculous time frames, and then they tell you like, yeah, the orders are coming. Just get ready to move.
Yeah, so this is actually the first time.
I'm ready to move, but I need some of this.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
Yeah.
I need some of that dislocation allowance, baby.
I can't complain too much because this is the first time where I've reached out to my branch manager and told him what my desired next duty station is going to be. And then he gets back with me within 48 hours. He's like, hey, gotcha, too easy. But here's the deal. You need to be there in like 90 days. And I'm like, well, okay, thanks, I guess. So
I think 90 days is fair. When I did my last PCS, it was, I kind of got my NOS, which for everybody, that's like notification of sourcing, right? So I got my notification, I want to say it was in like May. They notified me and they were like, yeah, like we'll get the orders. Because, you need, the funds have to be there to generate the orders. But to get the funds, you have to have the orders, right? It's like, you know how the Army makes peanut butter and jelly sandwich like backwards, right? We put the peanut butter and the jelly on the outside, and you're like, this is so gross, right?
Right, yeah.
So I got my NOS in like, I want to say like May, and I didn't see an order till the end of September, and then they're like, oh, cool, your report day is 1 November. Get to it.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, Roger. Yeah, moving.
Yeah, I would have went. I would have got an extension. I did get an extension. So for this one right here, they cut my orders on like, it was like December the 10th is when they cut my orders, telling me that I needed to be here like no later than like January, like 3 or 4 January, something like that. I'm like, no, that's not happening. So I sent it up.
It tastes so good.
Yeah, so I got a 30-day extension on that. I was like, I can't even plan for transportation. So, but I guess for anybody that doesn't know, anytime the Army tells you that you have to involuntarily, move to a new duty location, they move you and your family. So they pay for the shipping company to come pick up all your stuff and inventory it, and then transport it, to where it's going, and then they unload it, when you hit your destination and all that stuff. So. It's pretty cool. It's that they pay a lot of money to make that happen. So
I hope nobody from the IRS is watching, but I clocked 14 grand on this last PCS because I did a partial ditty.
Whoa. You and I need to have a conversation after this. So
yeah, I partial ditty, right? I got a 17-foot long moving truck. I'm not gonna say the company, but whatever. Moving truck, and that was just Joe's.
Yeah, it was
touch my Joe's, right?
So right, for sure.
Day, no matter what.
Yeah.
14 grand.
No, that's how you do it. That's it. Yeah, we need to talk about that after the stream. So I know we have received a little bit of light flack about not getting into the topic and kind of going 20 to 30 minutes before we actually get in there. So Chad, you want to?
We only did 5. Let's say hi to the chat real quick. Look, we're 5 minutes in, right? So I can just start flying the F-bombs. We're free and clear.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For you and for everyone in the chat who knows, if you know, you know.
Ooh. Yeah. I saw. I actually saw. I saw a Wild Tiger T-shirt on Facebook.
Really?
So yeah, if you want me to, I'll dig up the link again and send it to you.
Oh man, that stuff's no joke. All right,
Dude, but it's got nicotine in it.
dude, I remember. Okay, see, we're gonna get off. We're gonna do. But after you guys need to get into the comic and stop talking. What's the whole point of having two fucking angry vets here if we can't just bullshit for a couple of minutes? We can't just be
Yeah.
like, we don't care about you guys. We just want you to narrate the fucking comic book. That's bullshit. You can read yourselves. Anyway,
I mean that is kind of the way we pitched the show, right? Is that we were gonna go through the comic and give our opinion on what's happening. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of that Chris.
shut the fuck up. Anyway, so
Hey there, my dude. So
hold on. All right. Anyway, so
I had to sign this out of the arms room, you know.
I got a hand receipt for this. Jim Largo's here, but he's not here. That's cool. Whatever. Embargo's here. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Embargo?
JLS Comics is here. What is up, good dude? He's always got the best content. Brandon R's here. So Santa Brandon's here. It's good to have you. Lester's in the house. Patrick.
Hey, what's
Strauber's
up, Lester?
here. CubeTube is here and says, I hear Chad likes stuff. I do.
Stuff and
Jeremy,
things.
Do you like stuff?
I do. There are particular things and stuff that I do enjoy.
Yeah. There's some stuff and things that we all enjoy. Beta Ray Bob's here. What's up, dude? Media Clash is in the house. Very good. Very good. Samuel Edwards is here a few minutes late. That's okay, man. We always bullshit, right? So it's all good. We give everybody like a little buffer. George Aikens here, all the way from the UK. Good to have you here, George. Thank you very much.
You got to just wait till Wilhelm gets here. You're like, get on topic and do it now. I'm here for the G.I. Joe show.
Whatever, man. I'll eat your potato chips again, Will, if you're already because we're behind on the chat. You might be here. Hey, you have access. You can see all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff W is here and says, "What's up, guys? Jeremy, hope the move goes smoothly. I moved a ton growing up in a military family. Always exciting and something new."
It is maybe a little bit more stressful for the parents involved than it is for the dependents, right? But you know, thank you very much, and may that wonderful mullet forever flow in the wind, sir. There's a topic in the topic of tonight's stream is addressing all of the complaints about the stream thus far. That's it.
Man, that would be good. That would be good. It'd just be a lot of like, yeah, so this person's complaining about fuck you, you know.
Fuck you.
So he's talking to JLS Comics. Beta Ray, I just picked your comment as a joke. A is for Apple. What's up, guys? Does anybody here like stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
we do like stuff.
That guy likes stuff.
I got nothing.
Look at all my invisible jets.
Right? I exclusively collect Wonder Woman invisible jets. That's it.
You have 332
right
San Diego Comic-Con exclusive invisible jets.
Mm-hmm. With a couple of NECA Predators in there, but they're all in digital camo mode. So, or active camo mode.
Yeah. Father Son Galaxy, what is up? Good to have you here. And look at this.
Hey,
our buddy Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Missed you both at PowerCon.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Pantalones de Laser. Really appreciate the super chat. And yeah, that would have been cool, but you know, just had a lot of stuff going on, man. Couldn't make it, but it looked like the show was a ton of fun. And I'm sure over on 3POA, everybody there that was in attendance, you guys are going to do a recap show. So looking forward to cracking a cold one and listening to that, man. But thanks again for the super chat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. We love you. When's the next Loose Book Complete? Because I was invited.
Day after tomorrow.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Well, I was going to come to the last one, but remember the man was leaving, and I was like, nah, I want to I want to keep my coolions, you know, I want to keep my testicles. So I'm gonna hang up.
Right. Yeah. The man was leaving. The candle was lit, you know, like.
Yeah, the candle, the torch of Gondor is like, I must go.
Commander calls for aid, and Gondor will answer.
Anybody who doesn't know what the torch of Gondor is, my wife bought me this candle, and I was telling Jeremy and Ryan about it. So she was like super amped about this. We were talking about this at Joe Fest, right? Isn't that what we were discussing this?
Yeah.
And so my wife bought me this candle, and yes, we're still off topic, but she was like super jazzed, like, you need to open that candle. When she was at XCTC at Camp Roberts, when she was at CRCA, and she was like, you need to open that candle. I was like, okay, it's a candle, right? Calm down. And so I opened this candle, and it's like this fancy jar candle, but it looks like it has ice cream sprinkles in it. And then I turn it, and the label says, when this candle's lit, give me the D. Torch of Gondor.
So there you go, man. There you go.
Anyway, Ryan, we love you. I'm so sorry I missed PowerCon. And Jeremy, you know those things that you're like emotionally invested in, and like when somebody brings it up, like you feel that, like, not necessarily a stress, but almost that little like fight or flight kind of go up the back of your neck. As soon as I read that, I was like, man.
Yeah.
I have more leave put in for right after Labor Day. That's still not approved either.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're actually authorized to leave, you know, before you go. So
yeah, well, you know, I mean, that kind of happened once before.
it's like you know, when a senior NCO does something like that, that's like super bad, they'll just put him in a corner. They'll find a spot for him in the S shop or something. But when a private does it, it's just like, throw the book at him. Your career's done, you know. But you know, rank does come with its privileges. So, you know,
I know we gotta get to the topic, but that's the thing, right? In our creed, I will not use my greater position to attain pleasure, profit, or personal safety.
Mm-hmm.
But all the sergeants major are driving around in G rides, right? They're getting shuttled around in a freaking big ass white van, a brand new one, like a brand new 15-pack. There's like 2 people in it, the sergeant major and a fucking driver, right? Anytime you go to like austere environments, they're either in like the B's that have the air conditioning, or they're in a tent that has a Jenny and an air conditioner.
Or they're in a wet chew. They're in one of the chews that has a shower in it, so they don't have to shower with the rest of Gen Pop, right?
Now my last deployment, everyone E7 and higher had, we had chews, which is a containerized housing units, right? So
Connex. No, I'm not saying there's a problem with staying in chews. I'm saying that they got wet chews.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Okay,
everybody E7 and higher had them.
Yeah. But you know, it's you bring up the creed of the non-commissioned officer. That's a very important line right there as well. The one that I always come back to when it comes time for me to make a decision is, I will be loyal to those with whom I serve, seniors, peers, and subordinates alike.
I will take initiative in the absence of orders. That's a big one of mine. Yeah,
that's another one too, because if I screw something up. If I screw something up and I haven't been told what to do from the upper echelon, I can say I will exercise initiative by taking appropriate action in the absence of orders. I'm sorry that you didn't think that my actions were appropriate. You should have told me what to do. But
my unit will have maximum time to accomplish their duties. They will not have to accomplish mine. But while you were over there assing up that op order,
right,
I got to work.
Yeah, but you know, speaking on sergeants majors, you know, I will be loyal to those with whom I serve, seniors, peers, and subordinates alike. Is something that individuals tend to forget once they hit E8. You know, because I'll even when I know that my guys messed up, I will always advocate for my guys until the bitter end. And it seems like too many senior non-commissioned officers, as soon as somebody does something outside the norm that they're supposed to, it's automatically distance yourself from that situation. You know, this guy's screwed, whatever. But you know,
you know what? And I'm going to expand on what you just said. And just to back me up, Matthew Matson's here, and he says you got to warm up the chat and let people stroll in. 30 minutes is good. See?
Well, okay. I'm willing to deal with that. I am a little bit under the weather right now.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, I am a little bit under the weather. I'm not 100% today. I don't know if you can hear my voice is a little froggy, but I'm going to keep the energy high. I'm going to stay in a good mood, and we're gonna, we're gonna talk some Joe eventually when we get there.
You know what, man? I'm so glad to have these people hang out with us. Like you know, Matt said 30 minutes is a good warm up. Samuel says bullshit all we want. Patrick says comic book ready, still completely agrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little story I like to tell about three bad brothers, you know. So anyway,
That's going to get you a copyright strike.
no, it wasn't 10 seconds. Whatever. Look, boys. My whole battalion went to the range. Yeah, a lot of moving parts, right? So you got a lot of like range safeties, a lot of like range operators and things like that, and everything's going on all at the same time.
Sure.
My weapons company was in charge of running the M17 sidearm range, the 203 320 range. We're the weapons company, right? So you know what else is coming? The 240,
mm-hmm.
the
caliber, and the Modus,
the Mark 19. All of those.
That's
five of them, my company alone. Plus we had to do, right, all the retrains and things like that, right? So I took all my SAW E guys, which are my, all the weapons school guys, and I had them doing all that stuff, like, hey, like this is how you fix a runaway gun, all that good stuff that happens before any range training.
Sure, yeah.
My company was the only one that was there 100%. We all qualified. We qualified everyone else's companies on open bolts, right? 40 millimeter and sidearm, 9mm. We were the first ones there, completed the mission, got it all done. Since so many of my people were gainfully employed
mm-hmm.
with those ranges, me alone, because I hate to say it, but I knew my CO and my first sergeant and my peers, other platoon sergeants, were not going to write these awards.
Sure.
So I wrote awards for 9 guys. AAMs, Army Achievement Medal, right? That's only
mm-hmm.
a battalion commander's signature. That should be like that. I don't hear anything for a couple of weeks, and then next thing I know, my first sergeant calls me. And I've known this dude forever, like 15 years, back when he was an E6 and I was an E5, when we kind of came up together.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, Sergeant Major's he's pissed that you wrote that many awards.
Okay.
What? And he's like, Sergeant Major thinks that it's bullshit that we're trying to put 9 guys in for awards for one range. And I'm like, okay. First, it wasn't one range, it was fucking 5 ranges.
Sure.
Second,
yeah.
It was 5 ranges for the entire battalion.
Right.
Thirdly, you're the one that's supposed to be sticking up for your company and pushing back on that fat fuck, right?
Right. Yeah.
And fourth, it's not like he pays for them out of his pocket. Lastly, first sergeant, respectfully, I want him to put that in a fucking email and send it to me.
Sure. Yeah.
If he has the balls to fucking chew you out, to tell you to chew me out, just tell him to write an email and fucking send it to me. And I will blast that shit to the G3 and I'll be like, so what, now I got to pay for fucking AAMs?
Yeah, no, that's exactly why you got notification from the sergeant major through back channels, right? And there was no digital trail on that saying don't do that. But
because
it's
chuck him under that fucking bus.
Yeah, but in times like that, I mean, I know it's super painful when you're spread that thin as far as training is concerned. But dude, at the end of the year, when it's time for your NCOER, under your presence and develops right there. You're going to cover those 2 blocks just on that right there, right? Increased lethality, throughout the battalion-wide formation, right? Trained, this many individuals on this many weapon systems and stuff. So, I mean, you will reap the rewards at the end, but still, it sucks.
When it's like senior E4s and young E5s and they need the points and stupid shit. And like, not only that, like, we want to reward those people who step up, and they're
Mhm.
accountable and they're available and they work hard, and they're like, we're supposed to be masters of our craft. Part of that is, right, as non-commissioned officers, our first job is to train our replacements. And like, I get these young E5s and I'm like, yeah, man, just like do a good job, like always be professional. And then when they do, and then they get AAM shot down because, oh, God forbid, fucking 9 digital signatures is going to put you out, what, 12 minutes?
Yeah, not even that. And not even that. It's crazy.
After you put your pin in on the first one, you don't have to do it again. But
yeah, that's a bad mentality for a CSM to have. But honestly, look, and I'll say this, and this would probably get me professionally canceled if anybody ever heard this, but I don't really understand the role of the command sergeant major. It's ceremonial at best.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it seems like those individuals exist only to find a problem. I had a conversation with one of the CSMs that I butted heads with the most, and I, he was asking, said, Sergeant Jernigan, let's talk offline. He's like, what do the guys think about myself and the battalion commander? I was like, then it's like, Sergeant Major, they don't have a problem with the BC. Like it's you. You're a perfect example of you only talk about the planes that crash. Like this airport, if this battalion is an airport and we land, 3,000 flights, you know what I mean? You never talk about the things that anybody is doing good. You only come out and you start yelling at the guys when something goes bad. And so that's their only perception of you. And he was like, well, I'll take that under advisement. He didn't take it under advisement. So yeah, why would he?
Because when they go to the Sergeant's Major Academy, granted, right, I was an instructor for USASMA for years. The running joke is that when you go to, Sergeant Major Academy, it's just nothing but months of slideshows that say, like, get off my grass, yell at Joes for no reason, like stupid shit.
Right.
Anyway, look who's here.
Hey, what's up, Ted?
Good to see you, buddy. Curb Stomp's here too. What's up, dude?
What is up, my guy?
Look at JLS says you have a wall full of air guitars.
Yeah, these.
I love it. Oh,
I have a collection of pre-orders. Everything's pre-orders.
Is that all your Walmart classifieds? Bump, bump, bump,
yeah. As you can see, here's Big Ben right here.
Mikey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. I don't know, dude. It wasn't a Gwyneth Paltrow candle. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it's as long as we're just jaw jacking about the Army. I want to tell you a story about this individual, right?
Look at this comment.
You book your Joe Fest 2024 leave. Now,
dude,
I would.
I'm on the way out, man. My preset brief is the beginning of September, and then I hit terminal leave. So,
yeah.
Done. Vegas is here from Australia.
Hey, what's up? So we get out to this lane. We're doing troop live fires. And we get out to this lane and they said, hey, this is your VDO, or what's called the vehicle drop off. So your dismounts are going to hit the ground here. They're going to make this way, on this heading, and then observe, confirm or deny the existence of opposition forces in the area, make the determination on the ground as to whether or not to engage, and all this stuff. So we go out there, we run the lane. It's a 15-minute lane at most. And so we go and we pick the guys up, and then once we get back, the CSM is there. And he pulls me to the side. He's like, Sergeant Jernigan, you know how I know that you're failing these soldiers? And I was like, I guess, humor me, Sergeant Major. How am I failing these soldiers? And he takes a look at one of my guys, and one of their boots is unbloused. And he says, this right here, right? There's no uniformity within your formation here, right? You got soldiers with their, one boot unbloused, and he goes, everybody that's got an assault pack, what's inside their assault packs? And I said, well, Sergeant Major, everyone in my team has a different job. So there's going to be different equipment inside of their assault packs. It's not going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes,
crossload city.
Right. And then he asked me, he says, how many extra pairs of socks do all your soldiers have in their assault pack right now? And I said, Sergeant Major, it's a 15-minute lane, so that answer is going to be 0. we're putting more ASIPs batteries, and nods batteries and ammunition in those assault packs.
Yeah.
And he said that's why you're failing them. What happened to Black Hawk Down? Did they think that they were going to be there, for 24 to 48 hours? And I'm like,
give a shit about socks.
I was, that's what I'm saying. You need batteries and ammunition, right? You need batteries and ammunition. Nobody gives a fuck about socks. So, but
right?
the
three tenets are shoot, move, communicate, not change your socks. Change
right.
Your socks. We're not in fucking Sergeant Major. Like, calm down.
Yeah, it's and like my guys were on the ground and they're running the lane with their dagger, right? We were told to pull these from the arms room. Anybody that doesn't know what a dagger is, it's an Army GPS unit. It's very, very large. It can hold ComSec to where it's not susceptible to enemy electronic warfare, right? Yeah. Like your normal Garmin would be. And so he asked, he's like, your guys out there on the lane, I noticed they were using the dagger. Why weren't they doing this analog? Why didn't they plot their points? And I said, because the Army provided the equipment in order to not have to do that. That's we're progressing on a technological front to make things easier, while my guys do have the ability to do this analog and plot a point if they need to. This is the current technology of the day. This is how we do it. Yeah,
plus they push that whole Soldier 2020 shit, right? Technology. Is my audio better now?
It's still a little bit low, man.
Really?
Yeah. But it's like
that's anything.
It's like, you give us these high frequency radios and these ASIPs and 152s and everything. Is the expectation still that I should I should have a guy with a trumpet that can give commands on the battlefield as well, just in case the radios go down, or like what? It's still a little, yeah.
How?
That's better.
Well, I'm not going to stick my face in it the whole time.
Well, say something.
Hello.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
That's because I'm like a fucking half inch from it.
maybe you got to get one of those arms. Those arms that you stick your mic on. You can have it closer to your face and stuff.
I have one.
Yeah.
Get it. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Patrick Stralco says, when you are doing it right, leadership has to look for small things that you could be missing. 100%. And that's what I said. It seems like the role of the command sergeant major is to do nothing but justify their position by finding a problem. Because if there are no problems for them to find, then there's not a whole lot for that individual to do, to be honest with you. So, oh, hey, what's up, Jay? Good to see you, man.
Shark Eyes is here too. I'll try to project a little more.
Okay. Use your NCO voice.
What are you doing?
There you go, knife-handed.
What? My wife and I do that. We'll go to the store with the kid, and we'll be on an aisle, and we'll be somewhat separated. And I'll go, huh? And then she'll go, what? Like the kid's like, I'm not here.
Yeah, they don't want any part of that whatsoever.
Anyway, so what's up, Shark Eyes? Good to see you here, buddy.
Yeah, what's up, Shark Eyes?
Friend of mine was a sergeant major, just retired at Fort Sill. That's cool. Very cool. It's not so much the sergeant's major that I have beef with. What I have beef with is that you're over here like sharpshooting Joe. It's okay. There's a sergeant major who just retired. He was in my chain of command for a long time, right? Because my brigade combat team, everybody kind of bounces around. I have always looked up to that man. He is awesome. And I know that, like, if shit really hit the fan, I could just call him directly, and he wouldn't do the whole, like, did you call your first sergeant? Did you call your battalion sergeant major? He'd be like, what do you need? What can I help with? Right? He's like Johnny on the spot. He spent most of his time asking Joes what they need and trying to champion for the Joes.
Exactly.
Hey, did you guys get chow? What was for chow? Did you get enough chow? Like, what do you guys need? He would go to the Joes and then up. Whereas you see a lot of sergeants major, they work their way down. And as they're going, like, they only ask the first sergeants, like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, go ask the fucking Joes, man. Don't ask him. He sits in his fucking office all day.
Right.
You know, and if he's not sitting in his office, he's trying to fucking add up numbers and do the purse that he's counting on his toes. Personnel status, right?
Yeah.
Like, this sergeant major, he always talked to Joe. Then he would talk to like the E5s and the E6s. Then he would talk to the E7s and the E8. And generally, once he got to that group, he was more like, hey, this is what your Joes need. This is what your Joes are asking for. Like, no, he never like, oh, hey, your fucking boots are on blast, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
I did get an award in front of my entire battalion. And then right after I got the award, the battalion commander pulled me and that sergeant major aside, and he gave me shit because I had cat's eyes on the back of my PC. And he said those are only authorized in the field. And guess where we were?
Oh, yeah.
In the field. We were in the
field.
field.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're in, in the cantonment area with that on.
No. And I was like, yeah, Roger, sir. And he was like, oh, okay, so just make sure you fix that because you just received that award. And now you're standing up here looking wrong. Because like we were standing there, he's like, Sergeant Major, what's wrong with Sergeant Zolo?
Yeah.
Sergeant Major's like, nothing wrong with Sergeant Zolo. And he's like, look at him. Look at him. Just look at him. Turn around. What's that in the back of your headgear? It's a fucking cat's eyes, sir. Right?
Yeah.
That's in the SOP, right? Whatever.
Yeah. It's lame. And look, I'm not making a blank statement.
Dude.
Hey, what's up, Dinner Geek? Yeah, but like I'm not making a blanket statement about all sergeants major, right? I've ran into some absolutely fantastic ones in my time, but it's almost as like the good outweigh the bad, and I've always said this. Anytime you put a star on your uniform, whether you're enlisted or commissioned, you pretty much turn into a politician at that point, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're no longer soldiering. You're no longer just a steward of the profession. You are now a politician.
Yep. What's up, Brian? Good to see you.
And my stance on that will never change. So,
yeah, because like, what's your profession at that point, right? You don't really have one anymore. I think that once, right? So we have operational, then we have organizational. Like once you get to organizational, like what is your profession? Like
right,
S shop, like spreadsheets.
Yeah, S shop. What is your profession? PowerPoint.
With my what's on Joe mind pen.
Exactly. Excel.
S1, what is your profession?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't hear the clicking, but
well, we have broken into the half-hour mark. We're 33 and some change in.
Bam,
right into the Axion. I wish Axion Figs was here. But anyway, so for everybody that may need a recap, a guy that's not Destro but probably is going to be Destro has infiltrated kind of with a Trojan horse type of manner these offensive devices into the pit, and has been gathering intelligence with them, and now has decided the time is right to strike. And so these spider devices have now activated, and they are weaponized, and they are tearing through the pit, right? We've already seen a couple of Joes about to get the 21 gun salute here pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Talk about visible center mass. He got tuned up.
Oh, dude, he got they always say 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Well, he got a lot to the everything.
El Presidente?
Yeah. He got a lot to the everything. And so he gets lit up. So now the Joes are responding, right? To this threat that's happening inside the pit. What do you say? No Destro what?
Not Destro stuck his Trojan into the pit. That's what she said.
Yeah. So there's some interesting things, in the last installment of this, I was praising the gear and the guns and everything, and I do have a couple of bones to pick with this particular one.
Here we go.
Right off the bat. So I have seen a double mag coupler before. right? They make a device that couples two magazines together. That way your reload is just
It looks
boom,
like an
boom.
eye, and it's got a little screw in the middle.
Right. So, with the MP5, right, you yank your mag, you slap another one in there, hit the bolt release on that, and you're ready to go. I've seen double mag couplers. However,
high low and stuff. Yeah.
I've never seen a triple mag coupler before. And so Duke is running into battle with his MP5 looking submachine gun. He's got a triple stack mag there. Which, I mean, if it exists, cool. I've just never seen it before, but I could be wrong.
I think at some point in this chapter, Beachhead talks about. Okay, so you and I use terms that are kind of like ingrained in us that really don't apply in a situation like inside your own AO, right? They're in the pit. That's their area of operation.
Right.
Like that's home one right there. But I think at some point Beachhead does say how many magazines he started with right here where he's running down the hall, and it's like like an egregious number. It's ridiculous. I think it says 15.
They had 15 on him?
I think he says that. Yeah, we'll get to it here. Yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking of Beachhead, like I said, I always give credit where credit is due. I see Rock and Roll over there. We're going to talk about him in a second.
Yeah.
But Beachhead has got, it looks like it's either a bandolier, but he has 12 gauge shotgun rounds. And if you look underneath his M4 AR platform weapon, you will see the M26 mass there, the mass shotgun. Also known as the master key, right? Fantastic breaching tool there for getting through a door. So that's really cool to see the level of detail, right? The ammunition that's on his kit matches his weapon loadout, and the same thing with Duke, right? You can see the submachine gun pouches on his web gear there that would match up for the MP5 type weapon that he's using. And then Rock and Roll is just, coming out of his quarters, and he's just got a saw in hand. He's ready to go.
Doesn't the Heckler and Koch G36 have posts and slots on the side of the clear mags? Posts and slots.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think the last time I got to handle a G36 was in Germany when we did the Schützensneer there.
Do you have it?
What?
The Schützensneer?
Yeah, I got it.
Yay, you and me both.
Hey, so yeah, it's you have the option to do German proficiency there, so you qualify with the G36 and then also with their pistol as well. God, what were they using? I can't remember what handgun they had.
I don't remember, but that thing shot high.
it
shot high, man, because like with the Beretta M9, we were always like, you're equally pushing and pulling. Right, because then you keep that sight picture because you're pushing down and pulling back at the same time, and then you're nice and sturdy. Punching out with their sidearm, boom, and I'm shooting at that target, and I'm like, so if the target's here and here's the post, I'm hitting the post, and I was like, oh boy, I gotta adjust this.
I mean, so you weren't like a whole target frame high, right? You're just a little bit on the high side.
Yeah, just like right at the top.
Okay.
So it was almost like a little over lollipopping.
Right.
But yeah, I just had to compensate the grip, and I still got gold. I'm good. But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I do remember on the G36, I was using the full length model that does have that built-in red dot inside the carry handle.
Yeah, sorry.
And all that. And I just remember that thing was like, it was so dim, even at its highest setting, right? Trying to use it in the afternoon, it was really tough. And the vast majority of that weapon is it's plastic. I mean,
they're just polymer.
Yeah,
but, I have to say, so now if we're going to talk about Heckler and Koch and G36s and other NATO allies weapons, I have never met a service member from another country, from like a NATO ally or other, who don't love our M4.
Right.
Everyone loves that platform. And George had to go. Pericles is here and says going to have to catch the first half hour in a rewatch. It's a lot of shit talking.
Yeah.
And look who else is here.
Hey, what's up, Not Top Goon?
Yeah,
Not Top Goon and I have become really good friends. We talk on pretty much a daily basis.
I don't give a fuck. I mean,
So,
cool.
shut the fuck up.
No, that's awesome. That's totally cool. Very, very cool. You and I talk a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. About
Jay-
15 minutes
Jay
before
and
the
I
show.
Jay and I talk all the time. Patrick Shalko. I think the 80s Beachhead had a modern version of a Tommy gun, and I always assumed it was a 45 caliber. Those bullets. Well, I mean, Thompson was 5 ACP anyway.
Yeah, Thompson was 45 ACP. I think I got rid of the when I got my Target store manager exclusive Beachhead, I yanked that Nerf gun he had. And to continue that trend, I gave him a H&K. Yep. To continue that trend, I gave him a H&K USP 45. So submachine gun, chambered in 45 ACP. So I felt that was fitting. But yeah,
Okay.
so so we get the triple mag coupler. Okay, fine, whatever. So they're responding to this threat that has emerged itself inside the pit, right? And everybody's heading towards the sound of gunfire, as you should be doing, right? That's probably how you find yourself in the Joe organization to begin
Movement
with.
to contact,
Right? Movement to contact, right?
We
doing
run
it smart.
toward gunfire. Yeah, absolutely. And, I will say this. Apparently, I'm still too quiet, but I did on my stream deck that doesn't freaking work. I did put a turn the page sound.
Okay, what is it?
I don't even know if it'll pick it up. It might cancel it out. Hold on, I'll try it.
Hey, this sounded pretty good.
Yeah, but I had to put the microphone into my speaker.
I thought it was gonna be like, that would have been cool.
No. Anyway,
yeah, so
dude,
yeah, you want to turn the page?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the page. I have to say, and it's going to carry over to the next two pages or panels or whatever we wrote. Anyway, look at how good Beachhead looks, man.
Oh, dude, he's dope.
I'm going to move us. I don't know. Are we good with that? Everybody should have the book, right? Whatever. But
yes,
I didn't want us to cover the panels.
Right, and again, in case anything that happens during the stream triggers a YouTube manual reviewer, right? We do own these, right? And we are going over these copyrighted images for the purpose of a review. So stick it, go sit on it and spin.
Curb Stomp's leaving, has to go back to work.
Okay, well, glad you were here. Hopefully you catch the replay, right? And if you do have the book, looking forward to everybody's comments on what's going on there as well.
See, look at Vargo's freaking smart. Reading Rainbow. Should have got some Reading Rainbow sounds.
I believe that the reading, it was like bow, bow, like when they would go from like one kid to the other, He
live streams at the same time on a Monday?
Who else is live streaming? Oh, so there's that one that Vargo's over at. Not Vargo, Largo. Yeah.
And Scuba Pete. Yeah. I thought we were on off weeks.
Oh, I think we were, but then I think we came back on the wrong week. Right? Because it was like I would have Monday, Joe's Talking Joe, and then that next week on Wednesday, I would have Loose But Complete, and then that next week on Monday, I would have Joe's Talking Joe. But now we came back at the odd time, and so now my Loose But Complete and Joe's Talking Joe weeks have they're in the same time now.
So maybe we do the next one next week.
Back to back. That's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, if we got to get back on track, look, I had stuff go on, and I had to go away for a little bit,
Yeah.
So, some of So, anywho, all right. So the pit's under attack. You see one of those drones, and it's sitting on top of an overturned vamp, and it is just death blossom.
It's laying waste. I mean, you could look at the amount of casings that are flying out of this thing, man.
Yeah, this thing is just going right.
And so not a whole lot of text, not a whole lot of dialogue in here, right? Which it should be. it should be that way. Once you're in contact, you should drop all the chatter down to just operational language.
And
So
I will give them credit, like Duke does give a proper hand and arm signal.
right, he does.
So
he does.
Because they were like full sprinting at that hallway, and then Duke gives everybody the halt. So yeah, very cool.
And then again, that triple stack, that triple stack coupled MP5 monstrosity is on full display right there. So
But if you notice, now it's on the other side.
Oh
Look
yeah,
back.
it is. Yeah, it is. The rest of that weapon looks pretty good.
All the way to the right, and then here it's all the way to the left.
Yeah, it just irks me, but it's whatever. It's so they get on scene. Duke automatically realizes that they're overmatched, right? And not on the side of being overmatched that you want to be on. And
no, right? Because we like to fight 3-1, but
right.
Sometimes it's not just personnel, right? So if you break it down Barney style, we in the Army doctrinally we fight 3-1. So if we're fighting a squad size element, you want a platoon size element to fight that squad size element. That's at least 3-1.
Well, that's for guaranteed. Doctrinally, that's for guaranteed victory.
Right. But then you also got to consider weapon systems.
Right.
So if you have one dude with a saw, which is a squad automatic weapon, a saw, the M249 is the firepower of an entire squad worth of rifle.
Right.
So then it doesn't necessarily apply when you're just talking head count 3-1.
Yeah, it's and that's always the rule too.
In the pit.
Yeah, it's doctrinally, we always say, or what I always teach my Joes so that they remember that is 3-1 have more fun. And those are the numbers that we want to be in, but it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, but at that point you're essentially guaranteed. Yeah. Unless the element that you're going up against is in full like Iron Man mech suits or something.
Yeah, but when we also talk about doctrinally, when we say 3-1, that's not just sheer like trigger guys. That's your EPW team or your enemy prisoner of war. That's your aid and litter team. That's your secondary EPW team, your secondary aid and litter, your TSE or your SSE team. And then right. It's like teams upon like, just give me like 2 elements, right? Like,
yeah,
this one's going to suppress and then they're going to shift and lift and then we're going to flank the shit out of them and we're just going to run them down.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to it that a young lieutenant is going to have to take into consideration, right? Or the squad leader on the ground will have to take into consideration, right? You also need to think about combat enablers that are within the AO as well. Do you have attack air? Do you have aviation assets? Do you have indirect assets?
And we're going to find out, and that's actually really good that you pointed that out, because here in a couple of pages, we're going to see what kind of assets they have available
right
in this particular fight, because they are in enclosed spaces.
I do love looking at available assets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Assets. Oh, yeah.
So the Joes, this mechanical monstrosity has perched itself up on top of an overturned vamp and it's just laying that scunion, and it causes Duke and Beachhead to have to dive for cover, right? And now they're behind another vamp, and they're saying keep behind cover. And everybody's just trying to really just, figure out what the hell is going on. Duke is trying to get a hold of the CNC, or command and control, what in Army terminology we would call the TOC, right?
Yeah, Tactical Operations Center. Or, yeah, so they would have a TOC inside of the pit for sure, because in previous chapters we saw where Scarlet was in the TOC. Like she was directing operations from inside a Tactical Operations Center. That being said, like CNC is an outdated term. Regardless, when we talk about command and control, we just generally call that a C2 element.
Right. Yep.
Now the TOC would be the physical location, but who has command. Obviously, that's going to be somebody on the next page, right? So.
Yeah, which is, and we got into this in the first installment of this, which is, you have an organization like GI Joe that is, coming from Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Recon, all these different, SAS from time to time. Tony or Ryan needs to make a joke right now about Jeremy and the Coast Guard. I'm totally a seaman and stuff. So
did you hear when Tony said that, like, when we were hanging out at Joe Fest, that I looked like unimposing? And Tony made some kind of off. It was like it wasn't meant to be hurtful. It was like an innocent comment. But Tony was like, yeah, he's just, Chad's just like this tall, skinny dude. And I'm like,
I think he was he's taking the piss out of you, is what he's doing.
Oh,
right?
The fuck did you say?
Yeah, he's taking the piss, man.
I know.
Nothing personal about that.
No,
good natured, good natured. I'm sure.
It was funny.
But like I was saying, for an organization that's an organization that's a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this all put together, it makes sense that they would have their own operational language, and then what would come with that is terminology. CNC was in the 80s, their music factory.
Me.
So yeah, we turned the page and we found out who's in the CNC, and lo and behold.
All right, I'm gonna turn the page, but GeForce Racing's here. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on?
That was about the ass joke. Yep. And then Not Top Goon says, I'm gonna be honest, the Coast Guard is fucking badass. Y'all see their special forces in action busting drug submarines?
Yeah, I saw that footage. Okay. I mean, you can dress them up like a tier 1 asset and have them riding on top of a boat, with a crowbar trying to open up this vessel. But I mean, if you
little fucking life vest on and shit.
Right, yeah, I think if you take one of those operators there, right, and do a 1v1 with a Delta guy, I don't think it's going to go very well. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. No shade to the Coast Guard, but they just have a different mission set that they prepare for, and they train to a different standard than the rest of the. Well, they're not even Department of Defense anymore, right?
No, they're DHS.
Right.
You know who I will say part of DHS that are pretty fucking badass? BORTAC, the Border Patrol Tactical Unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen those guys before.
Those BORTAC dudes are pretty badass. They're squared away. Yeah. Like TTPs, tactics, things like that. They're, the best asset that we have in the combat arms community is we are always the first one to throw doctrine out the window.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's hard to beat us in any fight. That's why every other country loves when we come into a fight. They know that we're just going to break everything and blow shit up and then just leave.
Yeah.
We're just going to get down to business. Like, oh man, I got 6 AT4s. These things are heavy. Like, backblast clear. And you just fucking chuck them all.
Yeah, I don't really feel like carrying these back. So, Yeah.
Without the 84 millimeter heat rocket in it.
We're gonna let that thing fly, and then we're gonna crush the tube, and we're gonna call it a day.
All right, so we've changed the page. There's Sparks, and there's General Hawk, right? Mm-hmm. So Hawk's telling Duke that we have an unknown number of unfriendlies. Unfriendlies, I was like, okay, I guess you could maybe word that a little differently, but whatever, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of our radio chatter or brevity or whatever, it doesn't have to be like, you must say this specific word. Like, yeah, you could say unfriendlies, whatever, hostiles.
I would say unknown hostiles, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get too far into actually describing what they are across comms,
right?
Because if you don't have all the information, you could give something that leads the recipient of that communication to believe that they're coming up against something that they're not, right?
Yeah.
So
one thing that anyone who has been in that kind of a situation understands right off the bat is comms. You have to enter the net send your message and leave the net because there's so many people trying to get into the net. Like when you're getting down to business, I mean, you know, you've been there too. I remember one time, like we were taking fire and we were calling up like sit reps and salts and all this stuff. And like, they were like, what, you're throwing grenades? And we're like, no, they're throwing Molotov cocktails into the roofs of our trucks, right? They were trying to bank these Molotov cocktails into our
sure. Yeah.
turret. And somehow these force ops guys construed what we were saying as we're just throwing hand grenades at people. And I'm like,
I mean,
what's wrong with you?
I mean, if I hear, I mean, if I'm on the radio and I hear that we got troops in combat and they're in hand grenade range, right? We got a big problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to get on the net, get your message across clear and concise, and then get the hell off the net for the other echelons that are talking, right? So, you know, if you did have PID, you know, we always said ma'am, which was a military age male.
Yeah.
So, and that was operational vernacular for us. So, you know, we would say, you know, platoon size, you know, military age male, roughly grid, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
you know,
you
whatever.
Could say it could be 12 bodies, but you could say there's 12 packs, 8 mams.
Yeah. That's a great way to do it too.
Yep.
So they're up in the talk for the CNC. They're trying to figure out what's going on as well.
Yep.
And we find out is that these well, he got somebody who's a little bit more timid than General Hawk up in the CNC, and he's not making very good use of that M60, right? That pig. So you know, so Hawk
like
says,
hugging it for emotional support.
Yeah. So Hawk's like, hey,
M60.
Yeah, it's like his security blanket.
Yeah, it is.
So the general's like, look, if you're not going to do anything with that, hand it over. He says, yes, sir. And then the next panel, he's like, come on, get some. And he's full Rambo at this point, right? With the stock under his armpit, you know, holding the belt, you know, he's laying it down.
There you go. Emotional support pig.
I like that.
That'd be a good shirt. Emotional support pig with a M60.
So now we find out some more of the capabilities of these machines. They not only have these crazy Gatling guns on there, but some of them are outfitted with flamethrowers, and that's not good. That's not good. That could cause a persistent threat, right? You catch something on fire, and then
like Hawk's awesome jacket.
Yeah, like Hawk's jacket. You would also use flame right there. You catch fire to something to deny access to a certain point, right? So you can cut people off from an escape route. There's a couple different ways to utilize that, but it looks like they're going to primarily utilize it to try and cut comms. So, but we're going to get that. We're going to get to that in a second.
Yep.
So everybody's just trying to survive. Everybody's trying to return fire as much as they can, and then see exactly what the capabilities of these things are. So we go to the next page. Now we see it from the adversarial stand or their point of view. And they're
before
getting
we move on real quick, I kind of want to touch on what Hawk says here on the very last panel on the page 57, where he says, so Sparks asked him, are we retreating, sir? And then Hawk says, no, we're in a hole, right? We have nowhere to retreat to, which is accurate, right? They're in the pit.
Right.
So there's really nowhere to retreat to. And we don't retreat, right? What we do is we consolidate and reorganize, and then we re-engage from a different direction, a different avenue of approach, something like that. We don't ever really retreat.
Right.
That's just not a thing. Until your mission's over, or you're no longer your NMC, right? Non-mission capable. And then you call QRF, which is always me. And then we just smash everything in and save the fucking day and leave.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so yeah, I appreciated the fact that he said we're repositioning. Like that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to find another avenue where we have a better tactical advantage to take these things on.
Yep, sure.
I did really appreciate that. And then he bitched about his jacket because, the sixth principle of patrolling is you got to look cool.
Right. Look cool.
Yeah, look cool.
Is it what? There was a shorter version. It was like, look cool, know what you're doing. If you failed step 2, revert to step 1. And so that was like the third step. So look cool. So So yeah, so then we get into our adversaries and them controlling these death machines, and they are getting really, really, really into their regional dialect here, to the point where I'm having a hard time understanding what they're trying to convey.
Rolando, what's up, dude? Yeah, a lot of the stuff they're saying in this, I was just kind of glossing over. I just hear like,
yeah, we get we generally I don't. Why am I still showing pages? We don't need to do that. You can see it on screen. They're being very, very self-congratulatory with one another. It seems that they're achieving victory. The Joes don't know how to handle these offensive machines that they've snuck into their headquarters and whatnot. So just a whole lot of patting each other on the back, right? Yeah. Look at them run. Look at them run. In these mopies, I don't know what a mopies is, or a malpai, whatever.
But
so
they at least had these freaking two Scottish Nimrods playing Xbox or whatever, right? Because they did mention Xbox in one of the previous chapters.
Yeah.
They had a couple of enabling objectives, and then they had like the terminal objective, which we're going to get to. But one of their enabling objectives was to cut off Joe's communication, which they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see it right here in this first panel. So,
right, because right, we got our big three, right, which is always shoot, move, and communicate. Yep. And if you disable one of those, it has a very, very, very large effect on the other two. So if you take away people's ability to communicate, as far as the shooting is concerned, you're going to have to be very, very much more conservative with what you're doing if you've lost communication with the rest of your assets out there, because you don't know where they are anymore, right? You can't ask for like a quick grid, or if I'm about to light up this one particular area, if I don't have commo with people that may be in the area, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, because the engagement process is a series of steps that happens, and even if it's second nature, every step in that process still happens. And once you disrupt that engagement process, you have to restart the engagement process. That's why we suppress.
Right. It's
what we suppress. We deny the enemy's ability to engage us, and so their engagement process restarts continually. Every time we put their heads down, they're starting over and over and over. And all we're doing is we're moving up on them.
Right. And so actually, if suppression is done correctly, then you've taken away their move ability. They're no longer mobile, and they cannot
shoot or move.
Yeah, they can't maneuver offensively against you at that point, because getting up is not a good idea. So
and most times they can't maneuver defensively either.
Right. Yep.
And then comes the flank, baby.
Right. And then comes your flanking elements, and then you still have your support by fire element that's keeping them pinned down. So your maneuver element comes up, and it's not a good day to be on the receiving end of that. So, but that's that's one of the things that the movies always get wrong, is that when you see troops in contact, it's just everybody's just like at the full cyclic rate of fire with their weapon systems, and everybody's just like screaming at each other and all this stuff, and it's like, no, this is a process. This is a it's very much like a dance,
Well, that's why a lot of younger Joes, they don't understand that talking guns, it's something, it's like feeling the force, right? So like you were saying, cyclic, for anybody in the chat who doesn't know what talking guns are, if we have 4 machine guns on a support by fire suppressing either an area or point targets or whatever, we're suppressing the enemy in some kind of fashion. It's generally going to be like an outside and an inside gun, and then an inside and an outside gun, and they're going to talk. And the gun should talk, right? Die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die. Right? And like everyone's doing bursts because they're saving ammo. They're keeping their barrels cool. It decreases the need to have to change barrels, so on and so forth, right? And so you can actively suppress better with talking guns. And like younger Joes, they really have to learn how to talk guns. It's a hard thing for them to learn. Because they just want to hold the trigger down and be cool.
Right. Yeah. And it's not that's not the way you do it. The movies always get that wrong. And there's a process to it, and I call it a dance a lot. When you're doing this, it's very much like a dance, where your squad leader or your weasel, out there is the one that's leading the dance, but your machine gunner is the jukebox, right? Your machine guns are going to determine whether or not this is a slow dance or we're picking up the pace a little bit. So, but there's a big process to it. The entire thing is controlled. There's communication happening with the people that need to be communicating, and the rest of the junior enlisted guys. They know their part on the gun line, how to talk guns. So as they're firing, the firing of their weapons is actually communicating with the guy next down the line. He heard my shot, so now he shoots. Okay, I heard the 240 go, so now it's my turn again, right? It's a very intricate process.
All right, anyway, so I don't know. So they're rambling in some sort of Scottish slang, whatever. Basically, what they say, right? The short version is, "Hey, we knocked out their comms."
Right.
Now let's just like murder some Joes.
Yeah.
And then on the next page here, you see Beachhead say, "I'm on my third magazine."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like giving a piss poor ace report. Right. So casualties and equipment. I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought this was the part where he said he showed up to this fight with 15 magazines, but maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, that could. I think that's going to be in the next installment. Maybe. I think they're doing like a little bit of like an AAR, and he does like a very I don't know, like an unprofessional ace report, just I went through 15 mags or something like that, which is that's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those things, right? Because we always have to quantify what we do, right? Because it has to be quantifiable, things have to be repeatable, et cetera, et cetera. Packers in the house. What is up, dude?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Pack?
Being here, buddy. So, like, I'm on my third mag of, right? Like, do you have a standard combat load? Do you have 7 magazines? Like, I don't know what you showed up to, because these guys just came out of their freaking rooms, right?
Right. It's so like they didn't.
Who knows what they were doing?
I mean,
probably all watching Pornhub, and then they just come running out of their rooms. I don't know what Beachhead's got.
I mean, even in tier 1 assets, in a garrison environment, you're still going to have the armory, and that's where
we have the crosses, and you put your armor on it and whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, really, how he would do this, if he's trying to tell Duke that he's running low on ammo, he should let him know by saying, "Hey, I'm black.
I'm amber.
Yeah, I'm amber on ammo.
Amber, I'm red. Hey, Duke, I'm about to be black on ammo. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. My mags won't fit in your weapon, so eat shit and die."
And that's one of the problems with the Joe teams right there, is that you can't throw somebody a mag if one guy's using an AR platform and the other guy's got an MP5. It just doesn't work out like that. So
if he had the XMLR, though, those don't take magazines. Like, where's your freaking laser rifle, man?
Right. You just throw them a battery or whatever the hell those things run off of.
So basically, they're saying, like, we can't stop these things, right? And so Duke just they're kind of BSing with each other. He's like, "Oh, hey, we can pray." And then Beachhead's like, "Yeah, we could pray for a miracle."
Yeah.
And then the two with the my Lucky Charms and whatever.
Oh, my shillelagh. And then next thing
There's
you know,
Skittle all over my screen. What is that?
Dude, I don't know. The dialogue.
Because I was looking at the panel above, and I'm like, okay, it's not blood, because
he says
targeting Duke and Beachhead, but Duke and Beachhead are firing at it. So did it do something to the optics?
There's Skittle all over my screen, right?
What the fuck is Skittle?
I don't know. Just trash, an obscurant, something. Maybe
skeet.
It could be. But we find out the source of the Skittle when we turn the page, right?
That guy looks crazy as shit. Look at him. He's like drooling on that last panel there.
Yeah, this is straight murder porn for him.
Here comes the sound. I'm going to do the turn the page. Laser Pants, if you're still here, I still need you to help me get my Stream Deck working, buddy. Here we go. Ready? Turn the page.
I like it. I like it. So the source of the Skittle is Brainstorm, and now he's on top of a Humvee. Right? There's also Humvees in there with the Vamps, and the Wolverines and all that stuff. And he
Thank
just
you,
hit it with a
Patrick.
fire extinguisher.
Look at that.
What's up?
Podcast is tits.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Look at little Spaceballs reference.
Only
Listen.
one man would dare give me the raspberry.
Lone Star.
Anyway,
Yeah, so the
let's
source
go.
of the Skittle on there is Brainstorm used his
that's-
noggin.
Okay.
Yeah, Brainstorm used his noggin to create a battlefield obscurant by utilizing a fire hydrant in an offensive manner, right? So now he's knocked out visuals on this thing.
We're
It can't
gonna say
see.
that's a foam extinguisher, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a foam extinguisher. Yeah. So a
We're
foam
just gonna say it's
extinguisher.
foam. Yeah.
And then so
Brainstorm
the
jumps on top of that 1151 and he obscures it.
right.
Okay.
Now, at some point in time, someone has made a sticky charge now, or they had it ready to go, or
Couple of boobs.
it gets a couple of boobs for sure.
Yeah, we are. That's okay.
So someone had this this demo charge ready to go. The sticky charge. Duke runs in there like the high school quarterback, right? Flings this thing on there, and kaboom! This thing goes up. They got one down. You see it knocks that Humvee over, and looks like it rung Duke's bell pretty hard. The top panel on the right page there says it feels like my skull's two sizes too small. Which, look, if you do have a controlled detonation within inside of an enclosed space like that, and there's nowhere for that blast wave to go, you're gonna eat it. You're gonna eat it. You probably have a little bit of clear liquid coming out of your ears.
You know, yeah. So Will's here. Good to see you, buddy. And Jeremy was talking shit about you.
I did
Like
see
15-minute mark.
Yeah, see, that's why Will comes in at the hour and 12-minute mark, because he just made the assumption that we're actually on topic at this point.
Well, we are only like 6 pages in. But we're
Yeah.
halfway through. We're halfway through. That's right. Dude, I'll tell you what. So, yes. So, any kind of an overpressure situation where you are in an enclosed space is going to make that overpressure significantly worse, right?
Right.
It's that whole adage, like, hold a firecracker like this, hold a firecracker like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just my 1151 Alpha 1, the Humvee that Brainstorm is sitting on top of right there, we got hit with a thrown IED. Now, thrown IEDs, they're smaller than a placed IED, right? So they don't have the explosive or concussive force that a placed one would, right? Which is all the dramatic examples of video that you see of Humvees, getting rocked and blown sky high and thrown. Those are like daisy chain 155s and stuff like that.
You've got to have military grade, 155s underneath
We
there.
got hit with a thrown IED. I had dismounts around all of my trucks. So I had 3 trucks right here, right? So we were basically in a modified wedge with trucks, because when you do mounted versus dismounted, this is the same thing. You just, instead of doing it with people, you're doing it with vehicles.
Yep.
And we had dismounts around us, but dismounts, they add to the challenges, because as we're repositioning trucks, I can't be squishing some dude that's using the corner of my vehicle as cover.
Right. Yeah. Takes a lot of coordination to get that
We're
done.
looking, and my gunner's calling this, and my driver, and it was just me as the vehicle commander. I had our liaison with us, who was our E7, but he was also a scout sniper.
Right.
And then I had my gunner and my driver. And so I'm looking around, and dude, I turned like this, and I looked out my window, and I pressed my face to the window to look for dismounts. Fucking cloud. And I vaguely remember my gunner was like, grenade. And
Yeah.
spoof, right? And then everything was just like,
So what was it? Was it
shit.
was it MHE? Was it an RKG3? Like, what was it?
It was some kind of thrown device. My gunner thought it was a grenade.
Okay.
But when the EOD guys came out and they did the blast report, you know, like because the charring and scarring on the road and the shrapnel that was like in this and in my truck and all that stuff, and you know, they do all their crazy math that's different than master gunner kind of math.
Right.
And they were like, oh well, you know, this is a kinetic energy, you know, they do that KE meter or metric or whatever, and this is what it could have been, and what it was like a list of shit that it could have been, but it was basically it was some kind of HME. You know, they're pretty much convinced they made it out of like piss and nitrate, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But dude, that thing fucked me up, right? So obviously, like, that's why I got put in for my Purple Heart. Bleeding out of the ear, catastrophic rupturing of the eardrum.
Sure. Yeah.
But that was one thing, the internal from the overpressure, and that's really the only reason why I brought it up, right? Dude, my guts, everything inside my torso felt like it had been hit with like a wiffle ball bat like a million times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I internally did not recover for 2 months.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I was fucked up.
It's the overpressure, because more than likely what happened is that you had that pressure that came down from the turret, right, and then overpressured the cavity inside of the Humvee, and then it shifted all your internals. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And knocked them into a spot that they shouldn't be for a split second. But yeah, recovering from that it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
Well, it was big enough that I had my ICOMs on, right? So, you know, like the J boxed com set from the truck.
Oh, just the bows on there,
and it still fucking ravaged my ear.
Sure, yeah.
So the decibel level was high enough that the headset didn't clip it.
Yeah,
and it just fucking right through me, man.
It's crazy, man. G Watt with that was some wild times, dude. Absolutely wild times.
Oh yeah. Anyway, moving on. So Duke has a concussion, and now we're carrying on.
Yeah, he's we would say a mild concussion.
Yeah, so that homeboy says it's bloody well ruined.
It's ruined.
Ruined. It's ruined.
So our two
I don't know.
our two angry adversaries here in their regional dialect are going back and forth, and it's really the sum of it is that they're not happy.
Yeah.
And then the panel below that they're trying to talk to this Destro character, but he's a bit occupied at the moment because there is a raven-haired female in a skin tight black bodysuit that has a
stop with that.
she's got a Gucci handgun on him. Look at that laser suppressor. She's got that thing right on his chin, man. She's ready to hit the off button.
Hey, man, you speaking of suppressors,
Yeah.
also known as not silencers. And Jim Margo's here. Good to see you, Jim. And then I kind of want to see you and I touch on this for a second here in a minute.
Okay.
You know that Temu or Temu or however you want to fucking pronounce that seller site thing that now is popping up everywhere?
Oh yeah. They've been harassing me in my Facebook feed here lately.
Damn suppressors.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They call them something else. I'll send you a screenshot of it. Like whatever it was called, I was like
a dampener or something.
Yeah, like they called it some kind of like spout dampener tube or something. It was something like that, and I'm like, that's a suppressor.
No, I'm going to tell you right now what that is. That's an ATF trap, is what that is.
Regardless, that's a probably bullshit.
No, that's the ATF right there, putting that stuff up, waiting for someone to order it so that they can come and justify their existence, which they shouldn't. I believe it's an illegal organization, but anyway, that's just my thoughts on the ATF. But yeah, I also wouldn't trust a wish.com sound suppressor on my weapon. You never know. It's if you
towel and duct tape, man.
If you got a can that's not lining up just specifically how it should be with that projectile coming out of there, you're gonna have a big problem. Dude, Jimmy Purvis says it's a trap. It's a trap for sure.
Did you ever rock a shoot through cap on the end of your weapon? For
a little while I did, yeah.
Yeah, I I rocked a shoot through cap for a while. For anybody that doesn't know, they're just like these plastic caps. They just go over the flash suppressor on the front of your M4. You just kind of push it down. It's just like a little, it almost looks like an old film can.
Yeah, kind of. It keeps dust and small rocks and stuff out of your barrel.
Back in my day, we used to put condoms over our weapons. There were times where we would do that, but you know, then again, you shouldn't be putting your muzzle in the fucking dirt anyway.
For sure.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
dude, we got in contact, and I just started getting it on. Right. Well, it's called a shoot through cap for a reason. You can shoot through it, but then the second, third orders of effect is that once you start like firing rounds out of your weapon, gas heats up metal. Dude, that thing fucking melted.
Yeah.
Not only did I blast it the fuck apart, but it still had like the whole mushroomed end, and then everything was just like melt fused.
Yeah.
To the flash suppressor on my
weapon. No, I know exactly what you're talking about because I had to do the same thing. I had to once, you know, we had gotten back to the fob, you know, performing weapons maintenance and everything after a tick. I had to reheat that up with a cigarette lighter to get it to where it was gooey enough to scrape off of there again. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So Pendragon's here. Good to see you. Can never have enough Chads in the house. Jimmy Purvis, I don't know if Jimmy just got here, but that's a trap.
That's a trap.
That's a trap. And Woodman's here. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Woodman?
And then Mikey says, if there is anything the Chinese would want to make for us, it's a suppressor.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we get back to Destro and not Baroness because we don't know who this is.
Yeah,
and
Destro and some raven-haired woman,
some raven-haired dominatrix with
we do know
librarian glasses on.
Sure.
Yeah, we know it's the Destro for sure.
In the last chapter. Are we talking about mushroom tips? Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. So she is acting on behalf of an organization, and she's very, very adamant about the origins of this organization staying very, very, very secretive.
Yeah,
but
I think it's interesting where he says, "I'm on the verge of a major breakthrough," which we've already seen him use this breakthrough,
right?
And she says, "We've heard this before," so you understand right off the bat that there's some kind of history with James McCullen, aka Destro, and this female's organization. Sorry, carry on. As you want.
Yeah, it's so she's there on behalf of them because they are not happy with his progress so far.
Calling.
Who?
Keep talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's there essentially to punch his ticket because they are not happy about what's going on. And for anybody that read the first issue of this, we know exactly what he's talking about with what he says, the technology that will allow you to extend your reach to any place on the planet. And he's talking about that guy that just kind of materialized inside of that villa and shot the place up. And so she asks him any final words because, like I said, she's about to punch his ticket. And he says Clyde, and this angry dog just comes out of nowhere, and it, grabs on to Baroness. She winds up hitting her head on the stone there. She pulls out her combat knife, and then she gives the business to that dog. So then it takes us back to the pit. Everybody's still fighting. They're realizing that their conventional weapons are not having a huge effect on these machines that have been sent there. Rock and roll in true fashion. He's got a saw there, and he's singing through the whole gunfight. Wouldn't want to change what he's doing for the world. Maybe if he is going to communicate, or if he is going to sing a little bit, maybe talk to the rest of the squad a little bit. I don't know, but it's G.I. Joe. It's whatever. The next thing you know, and Chad is not here. I don't know if Chad can hear me, but if you turn the page, that'd be super cool. Yep. And so there we go. Bottom panel, there's a massive explosion coming through the wall. Now, they're talking about how these Trojan horse devices, had made their way in. They've burned through certain areas, and they're figuring out exactly what they're headed for, and then how many of them are there, and they come to the determination that they're really, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get into their mainframe, right? They want to see everything that this organization, Joe's, have got going on, because Joe, Joe is still like super secret, so they don't know what they're dealing with yet, or the adversary, Destro doesn't know what this organization is capable of, and and how large it is, and that kind of stuff. So so they determined that they're after communications. Chad, if you can turn the page again for me, thank you. Yep, let me make sure I'm caught up with him. Okay, now, so they are essentially aware that regardless of the fact that these devices are being remote controlled, that they're not able to communicate back to who's controlling them their exact location, right? Because of all the things going on security wise outside the pit. It's essentially like a Bermuda Triangle for communications. So they can transmit that, but they can't transmit back their location, which is good for the Joes. And then next thing they're having problems with these machines, and the conventional kinetic weapons are not working. And then all of a sudden a Bradley it just comes through there and smacks right into one, which is, if you got to improvise in the field, you got to do what you got to do. Let's see. Pendragon Design says they killed Clyde. They did in fact kill Clyde. Not Top Goon. Beachhead looks so fucking cool. I need a figure of him ASAP. So I'm guessing that you missed out on the Target Store Manager Viper Island exclusive. Beachhead, I think they're a little bit easier to get a hold of now. Hopefully a little bit further down the road, those will be made available again, because it is a really good classified figure. If you got to take the bray off of his head, right, and put that in a storage bag somewhere, and give him a more proper weapon. But once you've done those two things, that Beachhead is a fantastic classified figure, in my personal opinion. Chad, we got you back, man. Yeah. Lose the red beret. It should have been on his shoulder anyway, if it was going to be accurate to old Beachhead.
Yeah, I mean, under the applet is, it was cool for the original design, but
yeah.
But if he's wearing a balaclava, why are you going to wear a beret over that? That's dumb.
Hey, man, we didn't have an issue with that with Real American Hero when we were kids, and
but he didn't wear a beret in Real American Hero either.
But he had it on him. It was molded onto him.
It just under his applet.
Sure.
What I mean? If it was under his applet now, sure, but like to give him the balaclava and then give him a removable beret, like almost everyone I know is like, well, time to make an Action Force jammer and put this on some other dude's head.
Yeah, it was dumb, but
anyway, I apologize to you and to everyone else. The ma'am's out of pocket, so I've only talked to her twice. So I don't get to see the ma'am for about a month.
Yeah, so if you could start really treating what we're doing here with a bit more professionalism, right? And not take breaks when your wife wants to talk to you and stuff. That'd be really cool for everybody involved, I think.
Let's see. Do you rate this shit? No, you do not rate this shit.
You know what? Ditto. So so we were talking about
no, I do not rate you. Lucky you. There's that whole pesky thing called General Military Authority.
Yeah, whatever. Which is covered by AR.
Not 25-50. But that being said, General Military Authority is kind of a fucking lie.
Yeah, it's there for E8s to make themselves sleep better at night.
Right. But we also have this thing called do what your rank can handle.
Right.
And like when it takes an act of Congress to demote me, if you're not in my fucking food chain and you're anything lower than a light colonel, I'm gonna go, "Ha, Raj," and just walk off.
Right. There's certain scenarios with general military authority where on technically a second lieutenant does outrank a command sergeant major.
Oh,
right?
dude, I gotta.
But if if this lieutenant was to try to put this CSM at attention, you got to think of who the CSM's battle buddy is, right? Probably the battalion commander or brigade commander or division commander, right?
Yeah,
because we always
they're
have
a command team. Yeah.
right, because it's a command team. So you have the commander and then his enlisted advisor right there. So I'm pretty sure that command sergeant major is going to go to the battalion commander and say, hey, one of your 22-year-old second lieutenants tried to put me at attention today. And then that colonel is going to come down and have a field day with that young lieutenant, kind of teach him how the Army really works,
So we got a $5 super chat from Super Brandon, Santa Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. We greatly appreciate you. And happy anniversary to you and Ginny. So they just celebrated their anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Happy anniversary. That's awesome.
And Brandon says, I gave my Beachhead an Action Force AA-12. That's a good weapon.
That's a good weapon.
Zorena aiming at her neck at point blank range. Yeah, that's when your face becomes a canoe. Oh, did you see this guy's here?
Hey, Scuba Pete, what's up, man?
What's up, Pete? Good to see you, buddy. Pendragon says the artist doing these pages is talented, but there are so many strange negative space issues on these pages.
Yeah, look, a lot of his perspective work is fantastic. And I like how I would say for the most part, I really like the way that he handles these panels and everything. But yeah, there are some odd things happening there, but they're forgivable sins.
Yeah, but Beachhead looks so good.
He does look so good.
Hey, look, this is for you.
What's up? The ma'am takes precedence. Okay. I mean, that's debatable, right? So
Dude,
that's
the ma'am would push your shit in.
It's really subjective because if the Cobra commander called me, I probably just wouldn't answer her, but when she calls Chad's obligated to answer, you know what I mean? So that's
but I'll tell you what, man, like all jokey jokes aside, when the ma'am walks in a room, like, she is a fucking infantryman all day. She hits that room like an infantryman. Like, one of my buddies, an old buddy, like a dude that I have been through like the worst shit with. He's now a first sergeant, and she came into his AO and we were just standing there bullshitting. And she came asking him about like something about like master drivers and stuff. And he gave her some bullshit. And she's like, hey, first sergeant, do we fucking train to standard? Or do we train to time?
right.
And he just like, melted in front of her. Anyway, yeah. I have seen her push some dude shit in. That being said, Scuba Pete, thank you. Our good friend, much love, fellas.
Oh,
9 super chat. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pete.
I'm so sorry that we missed you, Ryan, Ted, Black Knight, everybody at PowerCon. Yeah. So I'm truly sorry about that.
It was really like a who's who of all of these live streams that are interconnected, because we've what's the word? We've become friends, like Kato was there helping out at the Animal Wars of the Kingdom booth and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, Kato's gonna come hang out with me on my show pretty soon.
Dude, that's awesome. He's a great guest to have. He's a great host. But he brings a great energy to a stream. So I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, I didn't run into him once at Joe Fest.
Yeah, you did. He was working at the Animal Wars of the Kingdom booth. You had to have. Literally, it's impossible.
We were talking afterward, and he was like, dude, I didn't run into you once. And like, I don't remember running into him.
I don't know how it happened, but I mean, I guess it's possible.
Ain't either.
Yeah. I guess it's
I was trying to get a Destro's Toy Den t-shirt, and for some reason I could never find where they were.
Yeah. Pericles, Dragon Balls. A man's wife is his life. Jeremy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
look at this
I guess I'm learning that on my third marriage. Yeah, sure.
one. Army life.
like you're not gonna make an E7 with the same wife you've had the whole time, right?
Up, man.
Like you're not gonna make. You have to have at least one ex-wife, at least one. Okay, it's it's part of the requirements for the rank. So,
oh my lord.
And look, hey, I made a joke earlier. If Cobra Commander did call me, of course I would pick up that phone. You know, I was just making a joke. So
Pendragon said he would cancel this whole stream just to get an emoji from the man.
It's interesting. Well, speaking of females getting shit done, right?
Largo's got to go.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you later, Largo. Oh no, Vargo. We'll watch the rest of the movie. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, we'll see you later. We'll see you later, Michael. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. And then Jim says I was too busy photobombing everybody. Fuck yeah, I was.
So yeah, so this Bradley busts through the wall, right? And
it's a good segue. Good job.
I really wish that it would have been a vamp, or it would have been you know, an awe striker to kind of keep it in canon, but it is a pretty accurate Abrams no, I'm sorry, Bradley fighting vehicle.
Yeah, for an M2, it's pretty accurate. But we're gonna discuss something that's going on with this Bradley here in a minute.
Yeah, right? It's you know, the 25mm Bushmaster looks great up there. We're gonna see another angle of it, and the toes are in attack position, but you know, that's I don't know if I'd let loose a toe in an enclosed space, but you know, if we're talking like a toe 2 Bravo or something like that, it's probably like a not great, but you know what? It works. It's an action comic. It works.
So 2 Bravo, for anybody that doesn't know, stands for like BB, like Bravo Bunker Buster.
Yeah.
You don't know. Now the TOE CE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because that's designed to be fired in right contained environments. But
yeah. So what we find. Why haven't we ever got a Bradley in a Joe line? You know, I don't know.
But True Hero Sentinel 1 put out Bradleys. A lot of other companies put out Bradleys. I got one right here.
Okay. Chad's doing show and tell. So but yeah, what we're gonna find out. Oh, that does look cool. Huh. But the Bradley's a sick vehicle, man. I don't know about this replacement that they've got coming. That's got the 105mm cannon on it. Did we not learn the lessons from the MGS that we should have learned?
Yeah, there you go, Mikey. Yeah, BBI, they did.
So anyway, Chad, if you want to hit that page, man. And come to find out who was operating this vehicle, none other than Scarlet, right? Another female that's not going to take no shit from nobody, and so she comes, she smashes this thing, right? So if
girl power, sisters before misters.
if your conventional projectile weapons aren't going to do the trick, let's weaponize a vehicle. Let's get super kinetic, right? And just smash this thing to pieces. I love the energy. I love everything about that panel. It's super cool. To include the fact that if you look at with the orientation of the Bushmaster, the main gun on that, you can see that she actually is in the appropriate driver's space.
Yes,
right.
She is. She is coming out of the driver's hat.
Yep, which is really cool.
Yeah. So Pendragon says, "I want a tank like the one Chad threw up on his TikTok the other day." That's the Booker. Yeah. It's the update to the M2 Bradley. That's what Jeremy and I were just talking about.
Update is an interesting word for that, because I don't see anything wrong with the Bradley.
Chad was the only person I didn't. How the fuck do you miss me?
Yeah.
I looked just like this, like the whole time. I wore this shirt at Joe Fest. Anyway, yeah, that's true. I'm sorry.
No, Largo says superior firepower is usually the correct response, but here's the deal. The Bradley is such a versatile platform to use. You got the 25 millimeter Bushmaster cannon, which fires 25 millimeter HE rounds. So when you're engaging dismounts, you essentially you have this grenade launcher, but the max effective of the 25 millimeter Bushmaster is Chad, Master Gunner,
5,200 meters.
is it something ridiculous like that?
Yeah,
so yeah, every time one of those rounds
this big, just
yeah, and it's this big around, and it's full of HE. So anytime it hits something, it detonates, and there's shrapnel flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Plus, you can also utilize the 25 millimeter Bushmaster with the depleted uranium Sabo rounds, right, to engage other light armored vehicles with.
Yeah, buddy.
Right, or if that's not doing the trick, and you do run across an MBT, let's say you run across a T-72, something like that, you pop up the tow launcher on there. Right, you fly over a flyover shoot down tow, that's gonna pop the turret off the top of this thing. I mean, the Bradley's a fantastic vehicle, and the limitations of that 105 cannon, like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do against infantry with that 105 cannon?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. You can shove a can round or a canister round, which essentially turns that thing into a massive shotgun. But your max effective is 300 meters, and that's like. I mean, the spread at that point is ridiculous. And that's like max.
Just to get people away from your vehicle. That's
Sure.
all that is, right?
Yeah.
Because like when we talk about our ROE, our rules of engagement, it's always you, your buddies, your equipment, right? Those are always like the first three tenets of rules of engagement.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like why does the M2 caliber 50 gunner have like a shotgun and an M4 or a saw up in his turret? Because if he can't delineate the gun, he goes bip. Just pops them. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, I really don't like that new vehicle. I think it's super stupid, but whatever. We're facing a new era, right? Near peer. I guess they want something that's a little bit smaller that can engage armor with. But I gotta tell you, in a 105 cannon, a 105 millimeter Sabo against a T90, depending on how far away you are. But I mean, if you're within range of that T90, it's you better hope he didn't see you. Like you better hope.
125 millimeter smoothbore.
Yeah. Plus that what is that what's that one that sniper round that can fire out of that thing too? It's no, the secondary on the T90 is the
Spangler.
The Spangler. Yeah. You don't want that thing coming after you. So anyway, you want to talk some G.I. Joe?
But it's all related. Right?
Yeah, it's all related.
It's all related.
Anyway, justice for the Bradley. It shouldn't go anywhere. I love that goddamn thing, but
yeah, infantry fighting vehicle all day, baby.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we find out Scarlet was at the helm, behind the or controlling this Bradley, came and smashed this thing. And then she gets out and she's got a Mac 11, and for some reason, projectile firearms are now doing the trick to finish this things off. They weren't before. It's kind of like what are you laughing at?
Patrick's like did that and then said, "Oh, the octopus emoji was an accident," so I was just kind of shaking my head at it.
Yeah.
The Booker is a light tank for the wrong war, and the Army can't change my mind by saying it's a mobile gun to support the infantry. Fucking A right.
Like, that sums it up.
We already have a Striker MGS. Just like leave it alone. Stop.
Well, no, that it's gone.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You get my point though, right?
Yeah, it's like they did all the dumbest things. They take the 25 millimeter Bushmaster, right, and then they put it on the Striker platform and call it a Dragoon.
Yeah,
right.
Dragoon.
And then they take the 105 millimeter, right, and then they put it on a track. Right, and then they call this what do they call this? The Booker. It's like we didn't ask for either of these. We didn't ask for either.
Ask for that UCP camouflage pattern where you're only camouflaged on your grandmother's couch or in a gravel pit, and we still got it. That's the problem with the military-industrial complex right there, and that's why I love G.I. Joe. So I was watching a thing about like Delta the other day. And the way it was explained, it was like a 5-minute clip, and it was like super fucking moto about Delta and like you don't ever want to be on the receiving end of Delta and how they're this and they're that. And I'm like, Somebody needs to make like a stinger clip about GI Joe like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking do it. But anyway,
so yeah, they smashed this thing, and now our bad guys are, you know, trying to they're not happy about this, and Destro is obviously, he's fighting for his life down there at the bottom panel. And you see what's there behind him, just over his left shoulder there in the case.
Destro's mask.
Destro's mask is there, right?
It's fucking Destro's mask. Hey, look right over there. Destro's mask.
So you can see this. He's trying to pull a sword out from behind, like what would be like a decorative, display, and then all of a sudden a boot knife just thing right into it. So he's got his own problems to deal with as far as this assassin that's after him. Didn't have a whole lot of time for people with their Xbox controllers in the control room.
Before I change the page here, in GI Joe terms, it's like the armadillo trying to replace the mauler.
Yeah,
right.
Something ridiculous like that. So,
and then Jim's got a point. He says that's why the engineers that put the stuff in the field never go to the field.
Yeah, it's like we asked to get rid of the 105 millimeter cannon on the MGS, right? We don't like it. It never performs the way that it's supposed to. The carousel system is stupid. The autoloader system is stupid. It's completely unreliable, and I don't trust me and my team's life in it. If this was, we were actually kinetic with a near peer or peer threat, right? We're like, hey, let's get the 25 millimeter Bushmaster back. If we have to keep this platform, right, the double V hole platform, let's put a 25 millimeter, Bushmaster on top and give us tow capability. Please, for the love of God, give us a tow launcher on there, right? So they take away the 105 millimeter cannon. They put the 25 millimeter Bushmaster on there. No tow capability. And here's the kicker. In order to reload the Bushmaster, you have to exit the vehicle. You have to get out of the vehicle to feed the rounds back down through there, because the expectation is this is going to be like a driver up drill in combat, and it's not.
Yeah, where you go from defilade to enfilade.
Right. Yeah. So in a driver up drill, what you're doing is you essentially have another vehicle, and as you're up there, at defilade in a fighting position, engaging the bad guys, your other one is down here, and then so you do what you got to do, and then you get back down again, because if they had oriented, a larger weapon system on that position, now he's gone, and then you're back up shooting again. So the expectation is that when you're back down behind defilade, you're doing what you have to do to get the vehicle ready for that next engagement, which includes exiting the vehicle to reload the main gun.
Yeah.
Right. How stupid does that sound? But, anyway.
We could go into a whole spiel, like we could go down the rabbit hole with that. It's like when we do infantry weapons company gunnery, we're doing it in a TC that's basically copy pasted out of the armor gunnery manual, and then the vehicle commander has to fire engagements. It's like the VC in a tank or so on and so forth, right? They can take the gun. To do it in an M1151 Alpha 1 with a Crows, you have to get out and do a fucking Chinese fire drill.
Right.
You're not going to do that in the offensive, so we have no choice but to do it in a defensive position from defilade.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, like, you're wasting your throughput, and the AG is not doing their A gunner. There's no A gunner engagement. And finally, they just changed TC 3-22.31 to where now it can be vehicle commander or A gunner. And I went to everybody in my battalion, right? Because I'm the battalion Michael. And I was like, it's going to be all fucking AGs. No more of this vehicle commander shit.
Right.
Roger that. Get it done.
Yeah.
It's dumb. And the thing is, like, I'm still rocking toes on 1167s on the ITAP trucks. So I got a fucking 240 and tow 2 Bravos all day long.
I really miss the old AT platoons, the old cavalry anti-tank platoons, hunter killer teams, right? Humvee up there with the LRAS, right? giving grids to targets for his battle buddy, the killer part of the team, to come out,
Snooping
lay
and pooping,
waste.
baby.
Huh?
Snooping and pooping.
Snooping and pooping, man. Yeah, those are the best days with those old AT platoons and doing having the hunter killer team set up. But this, yeah. Anyway, I know I sound like an old man on the porch that's yelling at the kids going by,
Yeah,
but
definitely. I'm always yelling at clouds.
yeah, I don't like change.
I'm yelling in my car in the driveway. Lord Palpatine's here.
Hey, what's up, Lord Palpatine? So Chad, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I'm gonna have to get out of here relatively soon.
Okay, well, we're right there anyway.
Yeah, we're getting
anyway,
real close.
Destro, he has other matters to attend to, so he can't help the Xbox twins. And oh, look, there's the Destro mask. All right, so and then the Bushmaster smokes another one of those drones. And then you see the Bradley kind of cruising through the pit there. And what they're doing is they're going to go to the servers, right?
Yeah. They desperately want to figure out everything they can from a technological standpoint, what this organization that they're up against, right? Because they don't know the scope and the depth of the Joe team yet, right? They have no idea, but they're desperately trying to figure it out. So obviously this is a bad thing for the Joe team, and they need to put a stop to that immediately.
So they're making their way to the silo because they're pretty much dialed in on the fact that whatever was going on with these other drones, right? So that was just, it was almost a feint. Like, yeah, we're over here firing rounds and M2 flamethrowers and stuff, but really what we're trying to do is hack into your servers, and we're also trying to triangulate the location of the pit at the same time, which they can't as of yet, and we're going to get into that. But
well, I say they already did. I kind of, when you're talking to the ma'am, I kind of explained that the area that the pit exists with inside in Arizona, it's been intentionally set up to be like a communications Nevada.
Yeah.
It's intentionally set up to be like a communications Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. It's completely black.
Yeah.
And then it says here that the silos hold all Joe personnel strategic code and files. I don't like the word protocol. Protocol is kind of like a Hollywood term.
Yeah.
Right. I fucking hate that word. Every time I'm watching a movie or anything kind of military related and someone says protocol, I automatically knock it down. Even if the show's a 10, I'm like, yeah, it was a 7.
Yeah, like Ghost Protocol from like Mission Impossible and stuff. It's like,
protocol. Yeah. So anyway, so they said that the silo is on a closed system. It's not on any grid or net, and then the only way to compromise it is to physically invade the pit and spike the drives.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if that's what they're doing. Right. So Xbox female tells Xbox soulless ginger buff dude that they're linked in and decrypting. And so they're looking for specific files, right? So they're looking for stuff related to Brainstorm.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Changing the page. Scuba, this one's for you. Cool. All right. And then basically they just set up like what looks like a final protective line here in FPL.
Mm-hmm.
So they position the Bradley to where it's kind of perpendicular so they can use it for cover, and obviously it's armor, right? So it's going to be whatever's going to come at them, they're going to use it as a big bullet sponge.
Right. And that's also doctrinally, technically what you want to do as well. Yep. You want to angle your vehicles like that. You never want to present a flat surface because a kinetic weapon. A kinetic weapon has the chance to do the most damage against a flat surface. Yeah. But if the vehicle is angled, you have a chance for it to deflect, right? So that's cool. It's just this guy right here, eyes open and safety's off. No, safety's on all the time until you're ready to get kinetic, right? And then even we used to do these shooter drills, right? Would be controlled pair, weapon up, semi, bang bang, safe down.
Let it hang, right? Low ready. And then like when the target presents,
right,
as you're coming up parallel to the marching surface, you hear the clicks,
right,
and then your sight picture, and then you fire, and then it's close the dust cover, safety, back to the low ready.
Yeah, so the drill is always we would do these drills hundreds of times, and we do them dry where you're like, controlled pair. And so everyone does it physically and yells it out loud, semi, bang, bang, safe down, right? And so you're physically manipulating the safety with your thumb, putting it in semi, bang, bang, safe, and then you put your weapon away. And a great instance of this was what was that movie called where they had those active duty Navy SEALs that were actually in the movie Act of Valor. If you watch the weapons manipulation that they're doing in that movie, you see and you can tell these guys are pros because you see them, even though they're firing blanks and it's Hollywood or whatever, you'll see them pull the M4 up, go to safety, bam, 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 and then safety, it goes back to safe again before they put their weapon down.
And that's just a pure muscle memory thing, like
right.
up click, down click, right? And then like dust cover, look.
Right. Because the last thing you want is to have your weapon on semi or burst, or like we used to have 3-round burst. Now we're just back to M4A, 1 lowers and full auto, or having a piece of gear snag the trigger, right? And then your weapon's hot, or snagging it on something else, getting into a vehicle and you left it on auto.
It's sworn statements for negligent discharge and counts and all that bullshit.
Right.
And,
so
I think
this whole
Pete made a GoldenEye reference. Is that GoldenEye?
Maybe. Scuba Pete, I spike them, Boris. I don't know.
Boris? I want to say that's GoldenEye.
Maybe.
Anyway,
yeah. So anyway, that's dumb. That was something that I would never say as a leader of soldiers. Yeah. So anyway, this device is down there. It's plugging into their mainframes, right? They already know their conventional kinetic weapons aren't doing a whole lot to this thing.
Yep.
So Beachhead eyes up this shot and then shoots.
Yes, it was
the portion of it. What? Oh,
it was
okay.
GoldenEye. Anyway.
And then shoots the portion of this that's actually plugged into the computers to stop the connection.
Yeah. So his little fucking dongle, his little scomp dongle,
his dongle, yeah,
fucking shut off your dongle.
Yeah.
That's a dongleless droid.
So they continue to engage this thing with their firearms, and it essentially escapes. It goes up into the ceiling tiles, and we're left with a.
Someday in like 10 years, you're going to be rereading this book, and then you're going to read that part where Duke tells Brainstorm, Beachhead is still a sharpshooting legend back at Benning. And then you're going to have to explain what Benning is to people.
That's right. Yeah.
People won't know Fort Benning.
Yeah, people don't know Fort Benning.
Where are the Megaforce quotes, though? It's all on the wheel. It all comes around. Good guys always win, even in the 80s. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, sorry.
Well, so the cliffhanger for this issue is that we do find out that they can transmit the pit's location now, which is not good for everybody involved. Oh, we're doing a little teaser for the next episode.
Yeah, we did it for the last one.
Yeah.
So the little droid drone thing climbs up, right? And yeah, he keeps saying this is bad. This is very bad. If that thing reaches the surface, right? So we know like that's the stakes coming up, right?
Right.
And then there's your teaser, and oh look what's in between them again in the case. What is that?
It looks like a big silver mask.
I don't know what that is.
It looks like he's wielding a massive Scottish sword too.
Weird.
It's got like a big claymore.
Probably in Leonardo DiCaprio's house. Remember, he was in that movie, The Man in the Iron Mask.
Right. Yeah.
That's a fucking good movie, dude. That's a good movie.
Patrick Stralco says, how important is cross training, or is it just a learn on the fly type of situation? So cross training is the way we do it in the Army, at least in the combat arms community, is that you're going to hold different positions before you get to team leader. So by the time you become a team leader, you're really a rifleman at that point. So you've been a machine gunner, right? And then you've been an AG, which is the assistant gunner, and then you've been a grenadier, right? And then now as the team leader, Yeah. You've been a saw gunner or a 240 Bravo gunner, so you know the capabilities of those weapon systems and how to employ them the best. You also know the things that they're not capable of. So
Just as important.
very important to know their limitations as well. So you'll know all those positions, but like everybody kind of, as a grenadier, you should be, at least, functional on a 249 or a 240 Bravo.
The general rule of thumb, Patrick, is that you always want to know 2 positions up,
Right.
in any kind of echelon or chain of command, right? You want to know the job to the person to your left and your right, and then 2 positions up.
Yep. Very,
So
very
if
true.
you're the gunner, you at least need to know your vehicle commander's job. If you're, let's say, like the saw gunner, you need to know like your team leader's job, like if you're light or something like that. But you always want to know other people's jobs.
Right. And then also, let's say, doc or your team medic, if your platoon medic or team medic is not religiously scheduling training, right? To teach the rest of the element, what exactly he does. Because look, if your medic goes down and you've been relying on that one individual for combat, or triple C for combat casualty care, right, then you're screwed. So your medic should be setting up classes with everybody almost on a weekly basis, saying, hey, this is how
CLS qualifications for everybody, because everyone, the goal is to get everyone at least ACLS, which is advanced
casualty. No, what'd you say? CLS?
Yeah, CLS.
Yeah. Combat logistics support?
No.
What is the acronym now?
Man, I was on a roll and then I lost it. Yeah, CLS.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's don't Google it either. Don't Google it. I need to remember this organically.
Like 5 minutes, I'm gonna go, oh yeah.
but yeah, you should know how to.
Team carries a TC3 kit, which is a tactical combat casualty care kit. Everybody should be CLS qualified.
See, combat lifesaver. Thank you, Jesus.
Hell, how did I forget that? Yeah, advanced combat lifesaver, ACLS. Yes,
but everybody should know how to shove in a nose hose.
I quit.
Everybody should know how to shove in a nose hose or a nasal pharyngeal airway, right? Everybody should know how to do a chest seal, an MPA, right? Everybody should know how to set a bone. Now they got these really, really cool items that will actually, like, if you've got a big wound and it's bleeding like crazy, once you take this out of there, you can shove it down inside of the wound and it cauterizes everything on the inside. Which is, I mean, you think of the amount of dudes that we could have saved in Vietnam with the medical equipment and knowledge that we have right now.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. Mortar section. Everyone knows everyone's job. Yep. You got to. So anyway, look, I do have to run now, but this has been a lot of fun. I don't know, Chad, if you're going to keep going or not, but thank you for everybody that was here. Thank you for everybody that's been commenting, especially the super chats as well. Those are always welcome. So thank you very much.
And when can everybody expect to see you next? Wednesday night on 3POA?
Yeah. Day after tomorrow, we're doing Loose But Complete. And I think
no more quick clot. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Days. Yeah. So I think if Chad and I are going to get ourselves back on the normal schedule, we're going to have to go 2 Mondays in a row.
Yeah. So we'll go next Monday.
Okay, cool.
Get back on normal schedule. Cool.
Yeah. So you got a lot of looking at me coming up in the future. So that sucks for you, but
I love you.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, hey, it's a ton of fun. Like I said, thank you for everybody that was here, and yo Joe,
brother, and thanks everybody in the chat, and we will see you next Monday. Go check out Jeremy at 3POA on Wednesday with Laser Pants.
Los pantalones de laser.
Yep. Dismissed.